Hello and welcome to Walpole United WFC. Hello and welcome to Walpole United with me, John Foster, MUFC. Reaction show tonight. Manchester United won, Birmingham 5-0. Bit more than what I thought we was going to win. I was quite confident going into this game, and we'll talk about confidence shortly with the rest of the guys. But I just wanted to come out and say, as excited as it is, and as much as I've been behind Skinner, there will still be times where we will still lose games, we will still have poor performances. But at the moment, it's going to be. You look at the likes of Arsenal. They slipped up against Birmingham a couple of weeks ago. There will still be slip-ups along the way. I'm sure of that. But the main thing is that we're slipping up a lot less now compared to the start of the season and the end of last. So it looks like that we're moving in the right direction. Matt, welcome to the show. How are you doing, mate?
Yeah, not too bad. Thanks, John. 30 minutes we were quality. And then after that, sort of second half, maybe struggled a little bit. But apart from that, like I say, good game overall. So, chuffed with that one. Like you, didn't expect the 5, but wins are wins. So I'd have taken anything, to be fair.
Yeah, I want to get into the confidence thing from the fans and the players' point of view shortly. But before I do, just introduce Anthony on the show. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, good. Thank you. Money's slowly getting better. Luckily, I bought my ticket for Arsenal last night, so all good. Regarding the result, obviously when we did our odds on the show, we didn't think it would be so much. But if I am being a little bit fussy, which I probably am, when we were 4-0 up at half time, I'm a bit disappointed we only won 5-0. I'd like us one time to be merciless and win like 8 or 9-0.
Do you reckon that had something to do with Arsenal? Did we take our foot off the pedal because of the Arsenal game on Wednesday, perhaps?
Yeah, potentially. Yeah, you're just going to be professional, haven't you? I suppose there's no point. I know we talk about goal difference and that, which would have helped, but I suppose, you got to look at the bigger picture, haven't you? And I'm sure the players were feeling that as well.
Yeah. I just want to bring you back and start the show with something that Matt said then about, obviously, we was confident. I think over the space of the start of the season, fans and maybe even players were kind of losing a bit of confidence. I can't speak for the players, but I can kind of, I do hear what the fans say day in, day out. And even myself, we didn't know what to expect going into games coming into December because we had a few draws. Our style of play was a bit different. I generally think that this Birmingham game, and Matt, you was at the ground, you can kind of let me know your thoughts. All of a sudden, the expectancy and belief was there. We always go into games thinking, especially at Leeds Sports Village, that we're going to win. But there's one thing actually expecting it, and another one actually believing it. My impression now is that we've got that belief back, and Natalie sent us voice notes earlier saying Tottenham, I'm expecting a 3-0 win. I think she said, and she had that proper belief there. A few weeks ago, I don't think we've actually had that belief. So Matt, in the ground, when he was queuing up for the turnstiles or in the actual ground itself, were the rest of the fans getting that belief back?
Yeah, I think so. I think, listen, you look at the last 3 games prior to Christmas, and it was 3 wins, 3 clean sheets. I think I think that Brighton game was probably the turning point for many. That followed up by what could have been a slippy Conti Cup tie at Everton that we won comfortably without getting into second gear. Kept a clean sheet. That got us through to the Conti Cup it didn't. Got us through to the Conti Cup quarterfinals.
Steady, mate.
There yet. God, somebody will kill me for that. Yeah, got us to the quarterfinals of the Conti. Obviously, then we played Villa. And I think it was one of them things where we always talk about these smaller teams that we don't necessarily kill them off. Yeah. And we did it with Villa. And we kept the clean sheet. Obviously, West Ham got postponed. We came into Birmingham. I think people were unsure more than anything. I think not that we wouldn't win, but it was unsure how it would go because everyone was so shocked at the Arsenal win. So people went from sort of saying, "Oh, we're going to smash them 5-6, whatever, 4-0," to, "Oh, well, we might get a 1-0 or possibly a 2-0 like the away game," which is fair enough because I was similar. I thought, yeah, probably not going to get 4 or 5, but we'll at least get a couple, maybe 3. So it turns out they were that woeful in the first half hour. Could have been about 8, to be fair, at half time. It really could. We're a little bit wasteful, but I'm not going to sit here and moan because it's another team lower down that we've put, well, I'm not going to say as many goals as we could, but we've put a decent amount of chances away. So that's satisfying. Got the win. So we're now talking 4 wins, 4 clean sheets. I think, like you say, John, it just lifts the mood, doesn't it? I think fans' expectations at times probably feel a little bit mismatched compared to the clubs. And that's sort of, the club feels like they're not that they're not trying, but that they're not fully giving what they can to the women's side as a whole, not just money.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think people are slowly becoming a little bit happier. I think the only thing now we need to watch is obviously not to get too excited because it was Villa and Birmingham.
Yeah,
and
obviously we will slip up. I'm sure.
So we've obviously got a tricky quarter-final tie. We've then got Spurs. We then follow that up with the FA Cup, which again, boggy, dodgy pitch. They didn't play on their pitch at the weekend due to the state of it. We then go to Arsenal in the league away before a derby game as well. So we're looking at a run of fixtures now. These next 5 or 6 games. Yeah. I mean, listen, I'm not going to sit here and never back the team, but I'm just saying, there could be potential there for anything to happen. And then your mood might be right back down within the fan base. People might be going on mad negatives and stuff like that without looking at the bigger picture. So, we'll see. We'll sit here mid-Feb and we'll analyse the past 6 games, and then I'm sure we'll have a nice little discussion.
Well, it sounds like you're very similar to me on this one, Matt. Obviously we're very happy that we've got that win. It's fantastic to win 5-0. We only won 2-0 at their ground. The 5-0 win against anyone is great. In the back of my head, I don't know if it's just almost too good to be true, but it's like I just reiterate what I said earlier. It's like I do think at some point we'll slip up again. It could quite easily be against Arsenal. They're a better team than us this season at least, and they are doing really well. They could win us and knock us out of the Conti Cup. All of a sudden, you follow that up with a draw against Tottenham. All of a sudden, I understand, but it could happen. I mean, Tottenham aren't doing great at the moment, but they're up there on merit throughout the whole of the season. So there will be times throughout the rest of the season where our I wouldn't say loyalty because I think that's probably the wrong word. I'm always going to be loyal to the club, but we will be doubting certain things that's going on, whether it be the players and managers. So I don't want people to get carried away when we win 4 games on the trot. The same way as I don't want people to get carried away when we lose 4 games on the trot. I was here defending Skinner when we had 4 draws on the trot, but obviously I want to calm us down a little bit as well when we've won 4. I've left this comment on screen from Connor. Hope you keep you well, mate. This was actually going to be my next question. I've got it written down here, or next topic at least. Kind of saying Skinner's tactics have always been clear from the start. I think the players are finally buying into it, and that's why it's coming off, and we're becoming more clinical. I am in the same mindset as Connor. I think other fans would turn around and say, "Well, Skinner's learning. He's playing the right players now. We're winning because Bo Reese is playing." I think it's a mixture. But Anthony, bring you on this one. I mean, what's changed? Why are we doing so well? Because we're not just winning; we're winning quite well at the moment.
I think what it is you got to give a manager time, haven't you, to implement his ideas. I know you can look at Arsenal and they seem to hit it off running straight away, but it's different situations with different clubs, and we had a bit of a dodgy summer where we're up in the air and that. And then 1 or 2 games it knocks your confidence and you think, oh, we're doing the right things and that. But like Connor says, it's coming to show now that we're getting there, and it's great. It's what was I had something in my head, but I forgot what I was going to say. Standard me.
Write it down like I do. I have to listen to you guys so much.
That was what you were saying. You mentioned Barisa. I think another person in the midfield, and that person is Hayley Ladd. Don't know what it is, but whenever Hayley Ladd seems to be in our midfield, our results just seem to be positive. She's like the glue in the midfield. So she holds back, but she gets stuck in, wins the tackle, and then that lets the others, whoever's in the midfield with her, push forward. They know they can push forward because they know they've got someone as quality as Ladd to break it up at the back. Mm-hmm. So I think it's no coincidence. I think it's since Ladd's been in the squad. Personally, it's when the results have started changing. But yeah, we're finally getting to how Skinner wants us to play, and yeah, we're not always going to be happy, are we? But it's just United fans, isn't it? But we just have to, like you said, there's going to be times where we're going to be annoyed. We're going to come away. Hopefully not in the next 6 games, but there is going to be, I'll say it now, there is going to be times in the next 6 games where we're going to be annoyed. It's in the next 6 games, though, we need to leave ourselves in a chance to still be in touch with the trophy. No disrespect to Bridgewater, I fully expect to beat them. It's the 2 WSL games after Tottenham. I like to think we'll beat Tottenham, but it's football. Never say never yet. It's what we do in the Arsenal and City game. City especially. Yeah, it's going to be so important, and even more important if City can get a result against Arsenal this weekend. So it could make or break our season the next few games, definitely.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, and Matt, I kind of want to ask you the same question because I don't know if you're going to look at it any differently. Are you looking at it tactically? Are you looking at the personnel? Are you just looking at it in the sense of they've had more time together now? But have you seen like a difference on the pitch? I think we're playing quicker. I don't know if that's come with confidence. I don't know if it's come with players having that confidence or kind of knowing a bit more. But what do you see as the main difference, Matt?
I wouldn't say we're playing quicker. I think that was a big frustration on Saturday. People was getting aggy because the amount of times the ball could have been moved. I mean, listen, something did change because the passes where we've said before you can do that in one pass. You don't need to go through 5 players. We mixed it up at times, and I think maybe that little bit of mixing it up between not keeping the ball for too long just for keeping the ball's sake and, pinging, I'd say Mannion, Risa, even Ladd, there was a few nice little balls played sort of over the top, out wide, through the middle. And I think that has clicked. That is one thing that is noticeable. It's not perfect, but listen, we're in January. He only took over late, didn't he? So that's coming, and we've sort of said this for a while. We need a mix-up of the way we play, and I think last time, I can't even think, probably the last game maybe before Christmas when me and Connor were sort of having a chat over this, and we was at the ground and was saying, and it made a difference, like the amount of times we were able to get in behind. And I think what was really good as well was that Alessia had support on Saturday. Bo Risa was getting up there, Tooney was getting up there, and it was sort of, when one went the other way, it was dragging their players out of position. I think at one half, the centre half was so wide that, you had... Well, the centre halves, you'd have thought, if you didn't know the Birmingham players, you'd have thought the centre halves were fullbacks at times because they were that far split. There was just a big hole in the middle. So that's one. Obviously, he's talked about that, hasn't he? He did talk about it.
I've been saying it for ages. But anyway,
no, he did talk about afterwards, obviously, about being a bit more nasty. And I fully agree. Again, I'm still seeing players pulling out of tackles, and it's just grating, to be honest, after so many months. There's no excuse. That's not Skinner. There's no excuse whatsoever for shying away from attack. If you lose the ball, go and get the flaming ball back. Do you know what I mean? Don't stand there like an absolute drip. But yeah, and then obviously, again, he just talked about sort of being clinical and bullying teams. And I think it's slowly coming together, but that mix-up's needed. But I think the change in formation and the extra one in midfield has done us favours. But it's always got to be. I mean, listen, like Anthony said, you know, obviously it's Villa, it's Birmingham, it's Everton. You know, let's not get too sort of carried away and hyped. But against the bigger teams, it does need to be mixed up more, and we still need to continue with that support because, again, Leslie put in a hell of a shift up top. You know, got a goal, very good goal, got herself an assist, worked tirelessly, holds the ball up well. But yeah, it's slowly coming together. There's still little bits, like I say, it's not perfect, but I think the players are slowly getting on board. If they could just move that ball a little bit quicker, you know, like they did at points and it worked because we scored from it or we created, you know, chances, then happy days. But it is a process and it will take time. So it's coming slowly.
Yeah. I think when we as fans say, like, we take 2 or 3 passes to get to where we could put it, I don't want to go into too much detail. It's not this type of show because we'll get down this route.
We'll do another one of these, John.
Yeah, we don't need to go down this route all the time. But I just think that's part of the game plan. The fact that that is part of the game plan, and we're not used to seeing it. But I do think they take extra touches on purpose because the end game isn't to kind of switch to play quick. It's like the burst of energy, like what we saw with the Dalton goal, where it took like 6 seconds to get from our own half to the goal, which is great. But it's all about little passes to get these players out of position. And
it is, but
I don't know. I know it's frustrating to watch when you think,
do you not think though? I mean, listen, I'll give you an example. Like Saturday, right? I get what you're saying, like little passes and move the players, but these passes were so little, they were just around the back. And the thing is, if you're playing it across your back 4, nothing's happening. Literally, mate, it was like watching chess in the second half because it was, let's give it from owner to Millie. Right, everybody shuffle across. Let's give it back. Everybody shuffle across. And it was like that, John, for about 15, 20 minutes in the second half. And I think that's the frustrating bit. Like, I get retaining possession, but one day against a quicker, better forward line, we're going to get caught out. They played 1 forward up top and I think 5 at the back or 5 midfield. Either way, it doesn't really matter.
I always try to think, why do they do this? Because they do, and it's almost as if they're doing it on purpose so they can see where the opposition is going to come to.
Do you not think we could break? Do you not think we could break lines better by moving better? Yeah, like, for example, like I say, constantly passing it is one thing, but we're quite static. We don't seem to move. Like I say, there's nothing wrong with keeping hold of the ball, but you've got to get in them positions with your movement to get in behind. And it worked a treat for 30 minutes. And then, like I say, a little bit in the second half, and even Skinner said it himself, it wasn't great. And we were static, and we'd give it Ladge, you'd give it back, Mary'd have a go, back to Manny and back to Millet. And this has been a theme across the season. But we get put like Chelsea, you saw it. Chelsea wasn't the time to be faffing about at the back. Obviously, Birmingham maybe, but that's where it'll come, because in weeks to come, you think, right, we've got Arsenal, they're better than Brum. We've got Spurs, they're better. So we can't really afford to do it then. We need to hit maybe more, you know, a pass that we can make in 10, 15 yards with one pass, not just ping it and shift everybody across, because opposition just regroup. That's all they do. But again, it's just mixing it up, isn't it? But what I will say is that I don't recall too many 5-0s under Casey. So I think the improvement is there, because I recall the 6-1 against Bristol in the WSL. I don't recall quite a few heavy wins. So, I'm not going to moan too much. But it's just interesting, like I said, because I think the staticness of it is probably the reason why. But that, again, we need to sort of look at that as per opposition.
Yeah. You just said movement off the ball. I just want to agree with you so much. I think movement off the ball when you're in that final third to get the centre-backs out of position. We've said it, and we saw it on Saturday. So important. It just opens up the game so much, and I think we do need to be better at it, but we have seen them gradually get better at it, and I think that's why they are getting more spaces. The key thing is when we play these better teams, will we be able to be as good off the ball to open them up, because I think they'll be a lot more wiser to it. And they're going to bring you in on the fact that we've got 14 goals in 4 games, haven't conceded. What's your thoughts on that? Because going into the season, we all says like, we're going to lack goals, and our defence is kind of risky, to make errors. Then all of a sudden, the last 4 games, 14 goals and 0 against. What are your thoughts on those, Anthony?
It's sometimes it's lots of things to do. The opposition, but you have to give credit as well because Brighton are not an easy team to play, especially at theirs. I remember when we were on my odds on show and I was doubting whether we'd win, but it was another comfortable win, wasn't it? And it's doing simple things like I know we pass it a lot along the back, but there's been occasions where we do too much at the back and then lose it, like notably against Chelsea and that. So we have got rid of it when we've needed to. I know sometimes they still give you a heart attack, don't they, when they pass it around and Mary kicks it out into space because she's been given a kamikaze ball. But I think in that sense we're doing that less. We're keeping the ball, but we're doing more. It's a weird one. We're not giving the teams chances. You look at Birmingham; they had one shot and it wasn't on target, so they were never going to score. Mm-hmm. Brighton, I can't really remember them having many on target. It's minimising the chances the opposition's are having as well. We're just playing as a unit. We're defending, and then when we are attacking, we are doing better. Like we seem to be getting behind them a bit more. Like that Leah Galton one, the one where what was it? 3 passes and in the net. It was Honor, Tooney, Leah. We need to be doing that more. That's brilliant. If we do that more, then we're gonna score a lot more. We're gonna hurt a lot more teams. I know.
That burst of energy. Sorry, Andrew. That's that burst of energy that I like. So we are a bit slow at times. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. But all of a sudden, if you're constantly fast, the defense will be like they'll be on their toes. Whereas if you suddenly just catch them off guard, like we almost did, well, that's the way we did do it. We caught them off guard because all of a sudden that energy could come from out of nowhere. That's why it suddenly worked because we're just not used to playing that like that for a long time. Sorry, Anthony, I'll let you just jump in, but I thoroughly agree. I love doing that every now and again.
No, that's fine, mate. No, honestly, but it's I think our best players are coming back. People like Millie coming back is brilliant, and even like the new signings like Barisa, like Mark implemented that she was getting used to the pace of the game, but even she's starting to come up to it now, so that's another option. It's just the fairest few things. It's just starting to click in. It's just and it is still going to take time. We are still going to get frustrated.
They're here.
Yeah. Sorry, I live in the middle of town, so yeah.
There's a knock at the door.
Yeah. It'll be for Stacey, but we won't mention anything about that. So, no, but people that are coming back as well, like Leah, she's not been great before, but she's starting to get some form back now, which is great. So, no, overall, I'm generally happy, but you know how football is. We're on a high now. It's like a kid having a sugar rush, isn't it? We're all like, woo! But we can soon come crashing back down to earth, can't we? Especially if we did lose to Bridgewater in the FA Cup. God, could you imagine the meltdown? One would be me. So, God, we don't need any of them. The men give us a meltdown enough. So, but no, it's just clicking into place, isn't it? Players, our best 11 players that are getting used to the league are getting there, and then just create more chances. You're going to score more goals.
Do you want to come back on that on the Tooney one, Matt?
If you put it up.
Oh, I don't know where the comment is. I was going to let you. I'll have a look at it.
I've still got Tooney in the middle, but not complaining. Is it that one?
I've got it, John. Yeah, come
on,
man. Yeah. No, I was just going to touch on this because it's interesting because I read some yesterday. There's an Arsenal fan, Liam, that put up some stats about our midfield. And I noticed Mia, who's obviously on the show Thursday, mentioned our midfield as well. And she said, about sort of what it can do and what she observes as sort of like a neutral. It was interesting because obviously I'm thinking now Jackie's making her way back. You've got the sort of the Haley lad, which we've all talked about. For me, Risa offers something different to Jackie and Tooney. So bearing in mind his system before was to put Stanny wide, and bearing in mind that Tooney started her career out wide, which I know not a lot of people are a fan of, but I am. I think that works if it means getting Jackie in the team for me. That sort of Leah on the left, if we're calling it the left or we're not calling it wingers, Tooney on the right, Jackie and Risa next to each other, and then lad in behind. And I think that, because they sort of, offer something different, I think that's the best balance in midfield. And looking at them stats, apart from one central midfielder, everybody else was sort of, looking pretty sharp in comparison to other players in the league as well and other midfields. So I think that could be interesting for me the next few weeks. Obviously, Tooney has excelled in the middle, continues to excel. It was probably one of the best sort of changes of position that Casey did at the club for me. But I think it is an option, whether it's a plan A or a plan B. Stanley's not a wide / winger, if you want to call it that. Leah did come inside a few times, and obviously she was sort of central for a goal, which is absolutely fine. But I just think that because of what she can do and because of how well the midfield performs and the final piece of the jigsaw to come back, I think for me that's something worth sticking with, due to, like I say, the success it could potentially have, and it did have for the last 15 minutes, on Saturday. Because I know you lot are all big fans of Leslie, and I messaged you, then I, John, had a bit of a joke and said, hey, she scored from a central position, John.
Yeah.
And, she, like I said, she was dropping back.
Just score from anywhere.
Getting the ball. Yeah, absolutely. Listen, she's a goal scorer, but I think for me, it would be interesting if we did, like I say now, when Jackie's fully fit and ready to go, if we did play that Jackie lad Risa, which everybody says is our best three and is crying out for, then to fit Tooney, and she either goes as a 10 behind Leslie, which means dropping midfielder, or she goes in, and then Jackie can sort of be the one to sort of hold, if you like. Not hold as in a holding midfielder, but she'd stay central, and Risa can get up to support Russo, or Risa can sort of stick centrally, and Jackie can get up and support Russo, because that's what was good Saturday. One of the central two got up to support Leslie, which made the difference. But yeah, just thought I'd bring that up because, like I say, it looked all right.
I could talk all day about potential for where Tooney could go and where Russo could go, and loads of different variations and why. But I've done it on other shows, so I want to give Anthony some airtime as well. I did want to actually, it's along the bottom, I think I've put, no, it's not along the bottom, but I've wrote on my notes, is Ella Toon the key to all this? I know she didn't get on the score sheet.
I'm giving her that one. Get Rambo, lad.
Yeah.
Either that or give it to Leslie for nicking it on the line.
Ella Toon's having a fantastic season, and United are obviously, coming... winning because of this. Anthony, what's your thoughts on what Tooney's doing this season and how a game's grown since the championship? And I've argued, well, I'm against the grain. I'm in the 1% thinking that we should play a false nine with Tooney being the false nine, but no one else thinks that, and there's no need to think that because it's working without doing it. But I wouldn't be opposed to that. We've got people like Matt who thinks she should be out wide. The majority thinks she should be a centre attacking midfielder. What are your thoughts on just how versatile she is and how well she's playing? And she's just doing everything asked of her at the moment, isn't she? And succeeding everywhere she's going.
Yeah, it's great that she can play in a number of positions, which is beneficial to the team. The thing is, you asked Tooney to play right back, and she would. So
yeah,
but no, it is great. I still think her best position is a number 10. but I do think she is a better option on the wing than, say, Stanisforth. And there's a lot of things with Tony. She's, like it says, she's an intelligent footballer. She knows who to listen to. Like having the Americans there last season would have been a big help. Just the knowledge they would have been able to give her. It was like I watched the Inside WSL show last week, and she was explaining her time at City and the information that Carly Lloyd gave her when she was briefly at City. So she would have taken that in, and you can clearly see the mental thing is she's still only 22. And so it's brilliant for us that she does bleed red, which is important because it'd be harder for her to go even if she did want to leave for a reason. But she's going to get better. I think she's going to. Well, she's already bringing more goals and assists to her game. You can see it. Like if you compare her to her first season in the when we were in the Championship, she wasn't even like guaranteed to start. Now she's probably one of the first, if not one of the first names on the team sheet. So it shows how far she's come, how hard she's worked, what she's taken on board from what Casey would have mentioned as well, and the more experienced players around. And I'm sure even some of the men's players have had an influence. I don't know if she's been lucky enough to meet Ronaldo, but
still waiting, lad.
Still waiting.
Yeah, we had a chat Saturday. Still waiting.
Oh dear. Perhaps that's why she wouldn't do Zoo for me.
Well, we're still waiting for the tune. Never mind Sue. Just shout tune and do it instead.
Yeah. But no, I think she's only going to get better, and we're going to be the beneficiaries of that. I definitely think it's brilliant. Tony's becoming one of my favourite players. I have to say, actually, I do like Tony. She says it how it is, and she's never going to give up.
Yeah, I think just to add to that, John, as well, it was interesting because obviously Anthony was spot on when he was saying she wasn't first choice in the Championship. But I think what's really suiting the game now is she's that intelligent and technically good, and the movement is very good as well. The Championship, without being disrespectful, was probably too physical for her. Like, if you look at her, she's not a physical player.
Yeah.
And if I was to compare her to somebody in the WSL that's been doing it for years, I'd say Fran Kirby. I say similar height. Tune is a little bit taller, but small compared to, everybody else. Very technical, very clever, gets in and out that space, finds them little pockets, can finish and assist. I think, John, because you commented on it, and a few Chelsea fans had smoke blowing out their ears the other day when she was something like the second, was it second for?
Yeah, something like that.
It was something like chances created or something, and I think it was Asif, he said something like 5 assists, 6 goals, and there was only Sam Kerr that could better that, and there was all going, what about Fran Kirby? And mate, just chill. Do you know what I mean? But in terms of like levels, I'm not by any means comparing it to Fran, but I'm saying, Anthony's spot on. Championship was, like I said, probably too physical. And listen, she still got in amongst the goals and helped us to promotion. But I just think the WSL now, especially when it's a better level, it just suits the game, because when you're in the Championship, or when we were, should I say, it's got a lot better. When we were, what we're coming up against, you didn't need to be like massively clever, or do you know what I mean? You didn't need to give absolutely 110%. There were times when we were absolutely woeful, but we got away with it just because of the quality of play we'd have at the club. So yeah, and Anthony's spot on, but I'll let you jump in, John, with your thoughts and sort of, add your Toonie loving in there. Just Oaks Lake Chelsea, lad.
No, obviously I just agree with everything that you said. I'm just really happy with the way that she keeps progressing. You said that she wasn't first choice in Championship. She also wasn't first choice in our first season in the WSL. She was always the first player on, and then she kind of cemented that starting 11 in our third season. And then obviously now she's doing really well for Lionesses, arguably the face of the Lionesses at the moment as well. She's doing everything right for United as well. You know, she's just doing great. And, you know, we speak a lot about Tooney, but I think it's worth mentioning because
deserves it.
Know, to me. And you said it as well, her movement off the ball. And this is what we was talking about. A lot of the way that we play is all down to getting our opposition out of position. And she can do that better than anyone.
Movement. Yeah, 100%.
I'm going to move on to some other players, and it's almost as if the comments have got my list in front of me. The commenter talking about Smith playing instead of Blundell. So I want to obviously just get your thoughts on that one. But also, is anyone worried a little bit about Hansen not getting any game time at the moment, or the lack of it? Because I think I think she starts the season well. You know, she started this season well. I thought she started last season well. It's just the fact that Preston Heath came to our squad of 3 or 4 games into the season last season. She always seems to do really well, and then all of a sudden we just don't see much of her. And it's got nothing to do with from an outsider looking in, it's got nothing to do with what she does on the training field, because we know that she works hard. We always see her with her weight. We always see her, her attitude is fantastic. This season was set up for her to really stake a claim. But the comments also mentioned a little bit further up the page, the fact that Skinner doesn't like out-and-out wingers, or he doesn't use them in regards to dribbling and playing a different way. And maybe, Matt, do you think that's kind of the reason why she's not first choice, because our style of play doesn't suit players who take people on?
Yes and no, because I think from that we've still got Leah, who for me still is an out-and-out winger. You know, you saw a goal. In fact, you even seen her assist. A goal, obviously, she came from wide and across the box and beat Rambo to it. Her assist, she got to the byline, beat a couple of players and dinked it back for Zellum, and that was a Leah of old. Hansen's an interesting one, because when we changed that 5 midfield, I didn't like Stanley on the right, and I was like, well, hang on a sec. How the hell has Hansen not got in this team? Because her work rate and what she brings is phenomenal. And that's nothing against Stanley, but Hansen is an out-and-out wide right player. Obviously, Stanley got injured, and as I touched on before, for me then it's Tooney, because I feel like we've got to get that midfield of Tooney, Jackie, Bo Reeser and Ladd in there, which is already 4 spots. You know, that is pretty much a midfield. So it sort of begs the question, where does she go? Now, obviously, I get what you're saying, John. You know, we're not sort of out-and-out wingers, and maybe Leah's adapted to that, and maybe Hansen hasn't quite adapted yet, which is fair enough. I don't know. Again, we're just sort of, like you say, how it looks from the outside without knowing the ins and outs. But it's kind of like, do you put sort of Hansen next to Russo maybe as a front two? And I know she's not an out-and-out forward striker, but I'm just thinking, if she's not going to be playing on the right, or we're not going to be using her to what she can do, which is beating a player, use her strength and cross the ball in, could she maybe do a job centrally? I don't know. You know, we saw little bits, didn't we, in pre-season of it, and Leah, it was like a compact central front three, and obviously she was cutting in. But I just don't. I just feel like she does need to run a consistent games. But where's she going to get it? Because he brought Fuso on, which is fine. Fuso needs minutes as well, and Fuso
deserves it. Fuso deserves it, arguably more than Hansen, because she's more informed.
She's shown a lot. Every time she's come on or started, she's shown what she can do. She's another one, but again, she's 19, 20, Fuso. She just needs to keep pushing on, and these little cameos here and there, and eventually it's a massive dilemma, which is great, because it's like, who do you start? Hansen, Fuso, who instead of, where do they play? Which is what we want as fans, but I just, it's difficult with Hansen, because I thought, like you, John, this is the year, a 3-year deal she's signing summer. I thought, we'll kick on here, she's got to take it to next level. And listen, she works her absolute arse off. She works hard for the team. Yeah. So it's not due to lack of effort and trying. It's just literally probably a case of, where'd you fit her in? And then TJ's mentioning there again, Carrie Jones coming back. Where'd you put her as well? So
we have got strength in depth.
We have.
We do say that we need players, and we do, and we need experienced players.
We do. Don't go backwards now, John. Bloody hell, you'll have people.
But when you start reading off these names, we have got backups. It's just that we haven't got necessarily an out-and-out goal scorer. But then you can argue, do we need one when we're scoring 5 goals from elsewhere?
I mean, without going on another formation chat, I mean, Dan, I'm going to keep it brief, I promise. There is potential for a 3-4-3, and your fullbacks to be the 2 wide of the 4, and your 3. Could we get Leah, Leslie? Oh, don't go into it, John. I'm keeping it brief, lad. could we go to it as well? Yeah, Haley would be in the back three. I'll put it that way. Could you then have a front three of like Hansen, Lessie, Tooney, or Hansen, Lessie, and Galton? I don't know. Like a plan B as well as this 5. But I did promise I'd keep it brief, so that's all. But it's just options in it, and then you can bring your likes to. So just while she said Hansen,
that sounds to me. When we all laughed about my inverted wingers. Potentially one of the
inverted wingers, John.
One of the defenders can turn into one of the defenders could turn into that next line.
Do you know what? You had inverted fullbacks. That's what you had, not wingers. You had your bloody fullbacks tucked in.
Sorry, inverted fullbacks. Yeah. Well, don't forget that Blundell. Not Blundell got Honor's goal a few weeks ago. She cuts in perfectly. Anyway, we're going to go off subject. We're going to crack on.
That's your fault.
We've got 20 minutes to go.
Get on.
Let's just hear your thoughts on obviously Curtis Smith, how well she's been playing, and the fact that she managed to keep Blundell off out of the starting 11. I appreciate that might have something to do with Arsenal in mind potentially. I don't know, but Kirsty, every time we call upon Kirsty Smith, she always, for me, she just always delivers. She's just a steady. For me, she's just a steady, good, 7 out of 10 player.
What you're my postman at delivering as well.
That's good. Well, I think we've got one of the best
backup fullbacks.
Backup fullbacks, that we've got. Yeah.
Go on, Anthony.
No, Kirsty Smith. Like you said, she always does a job. She reminds me a bit of a. I don't know if I'm going to get slated or if you'd agree or not. Reminds me a bit of like in the men's, like how Phil Neville was, because Phil Neville was a good backup option whenever he played. You always knew you get what you're going to get with them, and she's another one. She's improved so much since she first came in, but it's competition, isn't it? She obviously knows she has to work hard in training and that to get her chances. And when she does get her chances like this, take them, which most of the time, she does. I know a lot, like especially in the first season of WSL, Kirsty Smith was one of these people. It was a bit like, it always used to be the debate, is Kirsty Smith one of the weaker people? But she's kicked on, whereas you saw with Lotta, I don't know, did she not get a fair crack of the whip? Should she have stayed longer? Did she want to leave because she didn't want to wait round for that time? Whereas Kirsty Smith's quite happily, she knows she'll get her chances. It's a long season, and when she gets them, she takes them. But I would agree with you, though. I would say, John, it was Blunder will be back, I think, for the Arsenal game. I think he picks and chooses when he plays Kirsty, but he knows she's never going to let him down. But I think Blundell hadn't played. I know Honor started straight away after COVID and Christmas and that, but he might have had that in mind, starting both of them, or like you said, it could have just been as simple as we got Arsenal coming up, so keep one of them fresh. Because she did come on briefly. So if you read into who didn't start and maybe who came off, you could think, oh well, they're coming off because I want to start you Wednesday night. Lad came off, didn't she? So, but no, I'm impressed with Smith. She rarely makes a mistake. Reliable. So, and we'll admit she's never ever gonna fireworks like the best left back in the league, or that we know that. But what we are going to get from her is commitment, and she does her best, heart on her sleeve. I think she's in like a dream. I think Man United women to her is like she. It's like she's reached the top. Like, yeah, you could Arsenal, Chelsea, and City, Barcelona, and that. But I don't think, no disrespect to her, I don't ever think she'll be that level. But she is at a level we are at currently, and so it's not to say that in a few years' time, unfortunately, maybe she will get to a level where, unfortunately, it will be a bit too much. But while we've got her and we're at this level and that, it's great having her as a backup. And even Martha Harris being there, but she was getting slightly better as well, I thought, at the start of the season. But and she got injured again, so she's not really had much of a chance. But no, I'm impressed with Kirsty. She does what she's asked to do, and can't complain.
Yeah, can't complain. I think it's very, very steady and comes in when she does come in. She just does a job for us, and I think she comes in at the right games as well. So I think, I think Skinner's
does a confidence well that as well.
Yeah, good point. Yeah. We're going to move on. So we want to do a bit of an Arsenal preview, but before we do, just a couple of things before. Player of the match, would we say Galton? The people in the comments think it's Galton. Would you say that as well, Anthony?
Yeah. Obviously, I watched it on the FA Player, but yeah, Galton.
Yeah,
his quality, and it was her goals were kind of carbon copy, weren't they? She was just there in the middle. They sort of like just come off her and went in, which was great. We need to be
Rambo.
But we need to be doing that more. We need to be in that position a lot more, and we'll score a lot more goals. A lot of the time, we've discussed it. We put the crosses in and that, but there's no one there to finish it. So that was one thing I was really, really happy about on a Saturday. The being in there to finish them crosses off.
Yeah. Invading the space behind Matt. I think we've done a show on that one once.
Space Invaders, we'll call that
Space Invaders. There we go.
Get your space set out and you got your green screen in the back. You can sit and float in Mars or something. Move on.
Just very quickly, just before Arsenal, Man City, obviously they are hot at our tails. They won on the weekend. Matt, do you just want to quickly say your thoughts on, are they going to be our closest rival now, or can you see Tottenham maintaining like their good start? You reckon they're done Tottenham?
Thing is, Brighton have had a wobble now, and it's shot them down to about 7th, and I think this is the start of Tottenham's wobble now. I think for me, and I said this a couple of months ago, I said when City get all the players back, we need to be wary of them catching us up. Now, if you look at, obviously, we have Spurs. We're tied with Spurs at the minute on points in that games played. If we beat Spurs Sunday, as Anthony pointed out before, they have Arsenal at home. Now, I think if Arsenal can do us a favour, you look at City's next games after the FA Cup, they've got Chelsea away, and then we play them. So that potentially is defining, depending on who they've got back. You know, if they lose again, I mean, ideal scenario, and I'm going to put it out there, they lose against Arsenal, we beat Spurs. Forget the FA Cup game because that's not league. You know, 6th of Feb, obviously we play Arsenal. We've got to at least try and get something out of that Arsenal game. And then Chelsea can give them a new one at their place because they're away. So that's likely as well. Even if we lose and they lose, it don't really matter. We're still 3 points clear. Then we go to them in what's a massive derby game. If we win that derby game, here's a bit of confidence for you, John. At 6 points clear, you know, could it potentially be over? Probably not, but it's better in it for your confidence. Now, obviously, like I said, that's ideal scenario, and stranger things have happened in football. You know, we've seen it, haven't we? We've seen it when Birmingham beat Arsenal. So, you know, that game, that derby game could potentially be the fight for Champions League. I just hope we don't cock it up. But I think, like I said before, it's going to be interesting. These next 6 games, like I said, we could sit here mid-Feb on a right downer, having lost most of them apart from the FA Cup. So, well, maybe beat Spurs, but do you know what I mean? So I think it's just crunch time, but I think City's going to be our rivals for third. And like I say, I said that a couple of months back because they're slowly getting players back. You know, Lauren Hemp's carried that team, by the way, since August. Although she did get flattened on Wednesday, which I liked. That was it. We need a Haley Ladd to do that. Just absolutely mullered her and she limped off. But yeah, I don't know. It's just whatever. I still think, like I say, I think Tottenham and Brighton have certainly had their time now. They'll just be back in the mix with the likes of Reading and West Ham and Spurs. And I think Spurs now is the time where it's, going to drop off. Now, like Nat said, they were not great yesterday. They had 11 players. West Ham had 10. Yeah, and that's that really.
Wouldn't it be such a Man United thing to lose to Tottenham and then draw against Arsenal and then beat Man City or something?
Yeah, I know.
Anthony, you always have to give it the flip side, don't you, pal? I'm not going to comment on that. I'm going to delegate to John.
I just say it'd be such a Man United.
You say these things, Anthony, and then they
Man United
come
thing to do.
Yeah, but you say these things and then it happens and everybody gets
No, I don't. No, normally it doesn't happen.
I've not got either you or Benny. Benny says, what if this happens and we lose against Spurs and then we get absolutely walloped or something stupid like that and they're on a downer then.
Yeah.
Just pull on your leg. We won't get walloped by Spurs, don't worry.
You were saying, Matt, that Arsenal could do us a favour and win Tottenham. Well, potentially. What happens if Tottenham win Arsenal?
Hang on. We're playing Tottenham, lad.
Yeah, I know, but down the line.
Bloody hell, we're back far ahead.
Yeah, I'm sure you mentioned Arsenal do us a favour when they play Tottenham.
No, City this Sunday. Arsenal don't play.
Game.
Yeah, Arsenal don't play Tottenham, mate. For God knows, I don't even think they've got to play Tottenham. Oh, might be.
Well, it depends when it gets
rescheduled. Was that the game that was called off?
Did it get postponed?
Yeah, it did get postponed actually. Yeah, so I didn't mention it. There we go. Nice one, Anthony. No, I'm saying Arsenal need to do us a favour against City and beat them Sunday. We'll beat Tottenham. We'll extend the gap over Tottenham and City. Because that'll be what will that be? 6 points over City then. Will it be? Is it 3 now? Yeah, 3 now. No, 2 now even. Yeah. 2 now, and we pick up 3, so that's 5. And then we need Chelsea to do us a favour when we play Arsenal away and beat City as well. And then, pick up some at Arsenal. We're good to go, John.
What we'll do is we'll win all our games all season. Arsenal and Chelsea will collapse, and we'll win the WSL.
And then he woke up.
Yeah.
Go on, John. He's lost the trail of thought now.
I'm just reading the private chat. I just wonder what's going on there. Arsenal preview. So, Anthony, before we actually went live, you did come up with a good point, and we'll spend our last 5 minutes talking a bit about this. So, I don't know if you can actually remember what your point was, Anthony, but it was on about.
It was about
taking it seriously in regards to what we choose.
Yeah, do we put out our strongest 11? Now, I think we should. I'd rather put Mary Earps in goal Wednesday night because I think, no disrespect to Tottenham, I think we could give Sophie Bagley that game. And if he does pick Baggers for tomorrow, we know she can do a game. We know
Wednesday.
Wednesday. Sorry, I'm losing my days already. Yeah, sorry. I'm used to being pre-recorded, so. But no, Wednesday. We know she can do a job in the stick, but I think keep our normal back line. It's established. Everyone knows what Mary's improved so much this season. Seems to be better at demanding the ball. Like there's very rarely that she won't catch it or claim it. So I think I would go all out because Arsenal are a different kettle of fish. I don't think you can be going there. No disrespect to people, Carrie Jones and that, and Fuso, great players, but I think starting them would give Arsenal confidence. I think it's a cup competition, quarterfinals. If you're being serious about winning a tournament, you have to play your best 11. So for me, it's a no-brainer. you start your best team, and then against Tottenham, whoever didn't play against Arsenal, you can look at giving a few of them game time, because we know when Carrie Jones has had a chance and Fuso's had a chance, they have produced, they've done well in their moments. So for me, it's he's got to go.
Agree.
Fall out, but whatever he does, I'll back him. But I just think against Arsenal, you don't want to give them any confidence. Like, you don't want them to look at the team sheet and think, "Oh God, this team's definitely for the taking." Mm-hmm. Even more now, you don't want to give them anything. So for me, it should be pretty much what he started. Maybe minus put Jackie in if she's fit to start. What are you laughing at?
Because I thought something was coming then, but it was, but you just didn't say it. No, I was going to add another spin on it, John. I was going to say, what if Arsenal rest players? Because arguably, for them looking to push ahead of Chelsea that's got games in hand of them for taking the title, could they potentially rest players? I agree with what Anthony's saying, 100%. We should be going full strength. But you look at their game Sunday versus ours, Arsenal.
Good point.
Arsenal at Man City, and then they've got to follow that up with a game against Brighton midweek. Again, potential banana skin just because they've dropped off. They'll find form at some point. Could they rest players? But listen, they're there to be beaten. Them centre halves, obviously, without Leah Williamson, they look lost. Tobin's back in training. I'm assuming she's not going to play, but stranger things have happened. Should be a really interesting game, but I do think, like Anthony says, give baggers Tottenham, Hansen, Tottenham, whoever else. But we did take players off on Saturday with Arsenal in mind, so that tells me that we probably are looking at that. But I'll let you come in, John.
Just quickly, John, I'd like to test their keeper as well, because I don't.
That's the other one, isn't it?
Is it their cup keeper they normally play?
Well, no, because the first choice, Lydia, first choice, Williams, she'll be in Australia, won't she, for Asia Cup?
I didn't realise. That's my bad. I thought Sinsberg was their first choice, but
she might be. I've not a clue.
From what I've seen of her, she has been allowed to make a muck up this season. So let's get a couple of early shots on her, test her.
I think we're lucky that we know that we're playing Bridgewater as well. So Skinner will know ahead of the time that I can rest a few players for that game. I think if we didn't know who was playing in that cup, then potentially he might have thought to himself, okay, I've got to play some youngsters in this game because I don't know who I'm going to play in the next game. So I think we're lucky at the fact that Skinner will know that game in a couple of weeks' time, you can put some youngsters out there instead of here.
Yeah.
I don't know if Baggers needs to play against Tottenham, even, to be fair, because it's a WSL game. Just keep Mary up. We either play her or we either play in the cup or keep with Earps all the way through.
Yeah.
I do think we need to keep a strong team. I think this is a potential cup that we can win. I think, Matt, you raised a good point about Arsenal could potentially go weaker. Now, even if they do go weaker, they're still strong. Let's not forget that.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Yeah, 100%.
And to be fair, though, but so will we, to some extent, because our Conti Cup team, the first two games, I'm not too sure about the third game, but I'm sure the first two games, we actually played Lad and Bovis, didn't we, in the first two Conti Cup games. That's when they weren't getting game time. And then Durham, and it was the second game. I can't remember.
I'm trying to think if Lad played against Durham. I remember Risa playing. Maybe Lad, I don't know.
I'm sure we had a bit of a Conti Cup team.
Was Man City the second game?
Was it?
Yeah, because we thought we did the hard work there, and then we ended up making it.
We can find that out, but I do know that at one point he had Zellum and Jackie playing in the WSL, and then he had Lad and Bovis playing in the cups. I don't know how many games that went on for, but I'm sure it was more than one. So potentially what I'm saying is this game could still be Lad and Bovis with it being the cup. He might think it's his weakest midfield. We think it's his strongest midfield. So you know, he might think that he's going weak when really he's probably going strong anyway. If that's the argument. Defense-wise, I do think we need to play our strongest four. You know, simple as that. I don't think we can change too much there. And then we probably will see either Mafusa or Hansen. So I can only really see a couple of changes, max. But we will freshen it up. Obviously, Smith would be a difference. So that would be like 3 changes, but it's still really strong.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just looking now, John. You were right. Lad did play in midfield against Durham as well, and obviously we mentioned, Anthony mentioned about the City game and things like that. But I just think strong for Arsenal, and obviously you talked about 1 or 2 changes there potential for Arsenal. It could be 1 or 2 for Spurs. Let's not forget this will be 3 games in a week, or just over a week, really, innit? Because it's Saturday, Wednesday, Sunday. It's call it a week pretty much. I think rotation will be key, but I think for me, if anything, that I said before, more rotation against Spurs. Not huge changes, but maybe that 1 or 2 that you mentioned could be Spurs. Could see Smithy in there and maybe Martha Thomas or something. I don't know. Who knows? But yeah.
Awesome. I didn't realise it, but we've come to the end of the show. It's an hour. It just flew by there. We've got so much that we could have gone into detail there, but we're going to leave it there. So obviously, me and Anthony will be at that Arsenal game. Matt, I know it's difficult for you to get there on a weekday.
I need a helicopter from finishing work at 4:30, 5 o'clock, lad.
Can you afford one on your wage?
My wage, lad. Jesus. If I got paid what I was worth, lad, we wouldn't be having this conversation. I wish. I'll have to lend yours, Anthony. Send your helicopter up for 5:30.
Yeah.
Playground, lad, and we'll meet you down there.
We've got more trust in the title this season.
Let's give a score prediction for the Arsenal game, and then we'll give a bit of a roundup on what to expect on the channel in the next week. Anthony, do you want to start, mate?
4-0 Man United. No, I'm joking.
You never know. If they put a weak team out, we might go for it.
Nah. I'm going to do 2. I'm going to do head and heart.
Oh, God, here we go. One of these ones.
Yeah, head with an odds-on show prediction would say 2-1 Arsenal.
Mm-hmm.
Heart 1-1, and we beat them on penalties.
Ooh.
Oh, okay. Go on, Matt.
I'm going for swerve penalties because I hate penalties.
Well, I do hate them.
We never win shootouts because you always get the.
No, that's a lie.
First, why?
Durham, come on. Yeah, but we still beat them.
Yeah, but it's Championship, lad. Arsenal's a different kettle of fish. We're talking Champions League here, pal.
That's right.
Just Leicester.
It's all right.
Well, it wasn't. It is now because we got through.
Yeah.
It wasn't at the time. It was on a proper downer after that. But no, I think I'm going to go 1-0. John will swerve the pen. A cheeky 1-0.
Okay, well, I'll be different. So I'll say 2-1 United then. So looking forward to it. Absolutely. Plan for the rest of the week then, Matt. It's your show tomorrow, isn't it? We're looking forward to that.
Me, Gareth, and Richard Clark. We're going to be discussing the impact of social media. There's been sort of discussions with people we've had, and I know you've had, John, and sort of they've been chatting about sort of what we do on here and in general. So, role of social media, role of advertising, role of marketing. Who's responsible for it? Should clubs do more? Should the FA do more? Should fans do bits as well? Just a general sort of growing the game show, really. So, Richard's our guest tomorrow. He works within sort of social media and marketing and advertising. So he'll be joining us. That'll be really good. It's Wednesday's game day. Thursday, you've got Mia Eriksson and Philip O'Connor. A little bit of a transfer window update before the window shuts next Friday.
Yeah, 2 fantastic journalists there who predicted. They called it a long time that Black Studios was going to come to WSL.
You just got the wrong club. I'm joking.
Well, either they got the wrong club or we got the wrong club at stands. But
they got the wrong club, didn't they?
Club.
Nah, move on from that.
Good quality. We'll definitely watch that one. Friday Night Fan Forum. I believe Connor's going to be hosting that one.
You come in next, Anthony. You come in next.
It's before the Fans Forum, though.
No, you have to wait, though.
That's what I'm going to say. Connor's going to be hosting the Fans Forum this week because I'm at work. So Connor will be doing that one with a few good guests as always. Saturday is Saturday Night Live with Ben and Matt. And then we have got another show coming up. I wasn't sure if it was
Sunday match day.
Sunday match day, yeah. So we got some FC United, Stourbridge content and Man United content as well. And then we have got another show that sometimes goes under the radar, but I wasn't sure when we were going to put it out, you see, Anthony. So
it's going to be Friday afternoon.
There we go.
Friday afternoon.
No, because Friday afternoon's on the schedule, so I'm not changing it.
Exactly. I've already seen that. So
Good lad.
Friday afternoon,
Good
my
lad.
show, Odds on Show. We'll have a couple of extra games as well to discuss with Arsenal playing Brighton and Chelsea playing West Ham midweek. Let's hope for a COVID-free weekend.
Can I just say that I predicted 1-1 West Ham and Tottenham, and I predicted a red card. It's all on the show. It's all on the show.
It is. Yeah.
The only thing I got right all season, but I got that one right. We're going to leave it there, guys. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you to everybody in the comments. Please share this if you're new. Share it to your mates and all that kind of jazz.
Subscribe.
And subscribe, of course. Yeah. Fantastic. And we shall see you again soon. Thank you, guys.
Cheers.
Thank you. Take care.